Good morning. So in last lecture we have seen details of the bias, role of different stages. First stage, that is input stage, gain stage and output stage. Then we have performed the small signal DC analysis of complete 741 IC. In today's lecture we will perform the AC analysis of 741. So we will select all the stages one by one and then we will see what is the combined impact of all the stages, and then we will be able to calculate different parameters such as overall gain of op-amp, input impedance and actual output impedance. So as we have seen, ideally the input impedance of op-amp should be infinite, output impedance should be 0, gain should be infinite. So we will see what are the actual values and how much close these values are to their ideal values. So here these are the DC parameters which we have calculated in last lecture. Now based over these parameter values, we will be able to calculate different parameters such as resistance R0, which is the resistance between collector to emitter. So R0 is VA by I. I is nothing but the bias current. So these bias currents will be used in calculation of R0 resistance. In same way, emitter resistance, small re. So small re is Vt by I. So again Vt is thermal voltage 25 millivolt at room temperature. I is the bias current. So again these currents will be used for calculating all these parameters. So I have mentioned all the currents of different transistors. So for getting the different parameter values, we must have idea of all these bias currents. So we will start the small signal analysis with the first stage or gain stage. So here this is the input transistor Q1 and Q2. So we will apply input between these two points. Let the differential voltage between these 2 points is Vi. So if we see this particular loop, so in this particular loop we have emitter of transistor Q1, emitter of transistor Q3, emitter of transistor Q4, emitter of transistor Q2. One more thing, if we will see when we are performing the AC analysis, we remove the bias conditions. So here if we see, this is the diode connected transistor which will create a constant drop from the collector of this joint collector to ground. So here we can remove this by simple ground, and second, this is constant current biasing provided by the transistor Q10. So here it will behave as a open circuit. So this is open circuited while this terminal is shorted to ground in AC analysis. So here we can see this is grounded terminal while this terminal is open circuited. So now if we want to calculate what is the input impedance RID. So RID is nothing but the input impedance if we are looking between these two input terminals of transistor Q1 and Q2. So we have seen we have total 4 resistance, that is emitter resistance of this transistor, emitter resistance of this. So total 4 emitter resistances are present between input of Q1 and Q2. So we will say what is the emitter current. So emitter current is effectively the differential voltage divided by all these 4 resistances are in series. So we will say differential voltage divided by total resistance, that is 4 Re. So this is the input impedance. So if we will calculate Re, so Re is Vt by I. So if we will solve this, this is coming as 2.63 kilo ohms. So now, for calculating RID, note that input is applied over the base terminals, while the total resistance of this loop is 4 Re and current flowing is emitter current. So we know the relation IE is equal to 1 plus beta times IB. So by using this relation, we can, I have mentioned here, we can say RID is nothing but VI divided by IB, VI divided by the base current, and base current is equal to IE, IB is equal to IE divided by 1 plus beta, or we can say in this loop emitter current IE is flowing, so we will get RID as 4 multiplied by 1 plus beta n of this transistor. Both are assumed to be equal. So if we are putting the value of beta n as 200, which we have already mentioned, RID, the input impedance, will be 2.1 mega ohms. So it is quite high. So as we have seen, the input impedance of op-amp should be infinite. So we can say this is very high resistance, which is nothing but the input impedance of op-amp. Now coming to the load part. So in case of load part of input stage, if we see the emitter current is VI by 4 Re. So collector current will be alpha times IE, IC is equal to alpha IE. So we will say the current in this transistor is flowing downward. So current in collector will be flowing downward with value alpha IE. While in transistor Q4, emitter current is flowing upward. So here collector current will be flowing upward with same value of alpha IE. So now this current will flow through the load part of input stage. So here, because of current mirror action, note that if base current is ignored, then same current alpha IE, which is coming through the transistor Q3, the same current will enter into the collector of transistor Q5. And because of current mirror action, the same current will be replicated at the collector of transistor Q6. So here, now we will calculate the short circuit transconductance of input stage. So for calculating short circuit transconductance of input stage, we will ground the output terminal of first stage. And then we will calculate what is the total current I naught. So here if we see current in collector of this transistor is alpha IE, while the current at this point is alpha IE, which is flowing in the collector of transistor Q4. So net current, total current I naught will be sum of this current and this current. So we will say both the current magnitudes are equal. So we will say I naught is 2 times of alpha IE. So this is the total current. And now what is the short circuit transconductance? So we will say I naught divided by input differential voltage. So we have already seen IE is equal to VI by 4 Re. So we can calculate the short circuit transconductance, that is GM1 of complete input stage, as I naught by VI, that is replaced by alpha by 2 Re, assuming alpha as approximately equal to 1 by Re is equal to GM. GM is equal to alpha by Re, or this can be written as 1 by Re. So the short circuit transconductance is Gm by 2. So putting the value of Re, which we have already calculated, we can calculate short circuit transconductance as this much. Now we will calculate the output impedance. So before going in the calculation, I will first mention something about the small signal T model. So that will be helpful in calculation of all these circuits. So if we see in a small signal model, this is the collector terminal, this is a dependent current source of value alpha IE, then there is a base terminal, and then a small emitter resistance, that is a small Re, and we have resistance R0 connected between collector and emitter node. So this is emitter node, this is collector node, and this is base node. So just keep in mind this particular small signal T model. So now we will be easily able to calculate output resistance. So here, if we see this diagram, we have to calculate the output impedance if we are looking in this terminal. So we have two paths. One is connected to the collector of transistor Q6, one is connected to the collector of transistor Q4. So we have to calculate the impedance of this branch and impedance of this branch, and the final output resistance will be the parallel combination of these two. So here, let's say this resistance is R04 and the impedance looking downward is resistance R06. So we have to calculate this. So if we see effective resistance in the emitter of transistor Q4, note that this point is grounded, and if we are assuming that inputs are applied in complementary way means if we have differential voltage of Vi, then applying the input in complementary way means we will apply Vi by 2 at this positive port and minus Vi by 2 at this negative port. So the net differential voltage will remain same, that is Vi. But what is the advantage? If we are applying the inputs in complementary way, this point will be at virtual ground. So this will also be grounded. So now, here we will say when we are calculating the output impedance, we will remove the inputs. This will be grounded and this terminal is also grounded. So effective resistance in the emitter of transistor Q4 will be emitter resistance of transistor Q2 in parallel with resistance R0. So we will say the effective resistance in emitter of Q4 is Re parallel R0 of transistor Q2. So we know Re is much smaller than R0, so effective resistance will be Re. So here, if we see in this diagram, I have mentioned the effective emitter resistance in the emitter of Q4 is Re of transistor Q2. and its base is grounded and this terminal is grounded, so we will be able to calculate the output impedance at this point very easily. Now coming to this transistor here. So voltage at this point is very small. So we will assume that the base of transistor Q6 is approximately very small, so it is on signal ground. So now effective resistance here in this branch is small Re, emitter resistance of transistor Q6, resistance R2, which will be in parallel with R0 resistance. So now we have idea of all the resistances. So this we have shown. So actually there is one more resistance, that is R0, but since R0 will be much higher than R2, so we can easily ignore the resistance R0. So now by using this formula, we can easily calculate the resistance R04 and R06. So if we are using this formula for calculating resistance R0, so here this Re is the external resistance, not the internal resistance. So if we are focusing over this transistor, so the external resistance capital Re is nothing but small re. So this will be small re. So we will write R0 is equal to R04 is equal to R0 1 plus Gm is nothing but alpha by Re, small re, or we can write this as 1 by small re. So this is 1 by small re multiplied by capital Re, which is nothing but small re right now, in parallel with R pi. So R pi is 1 plus beta times small re. So we will say approximately beta times small re. No doubt this factor is much higher than Re, so net effective resistance will be small re. So this we can ignore. So Re and Re will be cancelled. So we will get R0 multiplied by 1 plus 1, that is 2. So net resistance R04 will be 2 times R0. So here R0 can be calculated by using this formula VA by I, where VA is the early voltage and VA is 50 volts and the corresponding bias current is this much. So we will get R0 as 5.2 mega ohms. So 2 times of R0 will be approximately 10.5 mega ohms. In same way, we can calculate the resistance R06 by using same formula. So here now Re is nothing but resistance R2. Its value is known. So again solving this, we will get R06 as 18.2 mega ohms. And now the output impedance of first stage will be the parallel combination of this resistance and this resistance. So here this will come as 6.7 mega ohms. And this is the equivalent diagram of input stage. So here we have applied the input, differential input Vi, the input impedance Rid, which we have already calculated approximately 2 mega ohms. We have calculated short circuit transconductance. So we will say the current I0. The current I0 is nothing but GM1 V1. So GM1 V1, this is the dependent current source, and then output impedance of first stage, which is written as R01. So we have calculated all the required 3 parameters: input impedance, output impedance, and short circuit transconductance of input stage. Now we will perform same analysis for gain stage. So coming to the gain stage. So now first we will calculate the input impedance of gain stage. So here input impedance of gain stage is Ri2. So for calculating this, we must have idea of what is the input impedance if we are looking into the base of transistor Q17. So if we recall the small signal T model, this is base terminal while this is emitter terminal. So if we are looking from the base terminal, all the resistances available in emitter of transistor will be amplified by factor 1 plus beta. So we will say Ri17 is 1 plus beta. We will take only simple beta. Reason beta is much higher than unity. So we will say beta 17 multiplied by the net resistance. So here we will say small Re of 17 plus this external resistance R8. So net resistance Ri17 is beta 17 multiplied by small Re plus R8. Here we have ignored the resistance R0 of transistor Q17, which is connected between collector and emitter of this transistor Q17 because it is having very high value. So Ri17 is this much. Now this resistance is in effect parallel to this R9 resistance. So we will say this resistance is in parallel with R9 resistance, and again we will have emitter resistance of transistor Q16. And if we consider the R0 of transistor Q16, so we will have R9 parallel this resistance parallel small R0 resistance. So here R9 in parallel with this resistance, which is written as 1 plus beta 17 Re plus R8, and then here again we have ignored the resistance R0 as it is much higher than this resistance present in the emitter, and then a small Re of transistor Q16. Again, since we are looking from the base, so this net resistance present in the emitter of transistor Q16 will be further amplified by factor 1 plus beta 16 of this transistor. So we will be able to calculate the input impedance of transistor, this gain stage. Now we have to calculate the short circuit transconductance of gain stage. So here again we will short it to ground. So we will say no component of signal current will go in this load, this active load. So I0 is simply IC17. And we know IC is equal to alpha IE. So this can be written as alpha IE. So, okay. So we will just due to paucity of time, we will continue this calculation of transconductance, short circuit transconductance in next lecture. So today we will finish up to calculation of the input impedance Ri2.